What's up, everybody? Creative Circles back with another video. And today I'm just going to be talking about a little bit about the importance of staying resilient and also my experience working at McDonald's throughout my college years, like my last couple years. So, staying resilient. When I was in college, I dropped out many times, um, maybe 4 times. I think I even so I started in 2016. I was going to school to be a lawyer, and I eventually quit that when my dad passed away. I ended up flunking all my classes and um, flunked out. Got put on academic probation, and luckily, I knew the dean at the time. I told her my story, and she got me back in without penalty. And she dropped those classes. She wiped out that history. Um, Another thing I could mention is forming connections because without that, I wouldn't have been able to come back in scot free and still have a good GPA. Fast forward, I was doing my business and I'm like, I don't really need school, so I'll just stay out. I don't need to go back. So I did my business for a while, doing that part time, and it just wasn't being very successful. So my mom told me I was like 18, fresh out of high school. She told me I had to go back to school. So I went back to study engineering. It's probably a year later. Went back to study engineering, and I started playing baseball. And a couple months in, my business started to do well again, and I kept missing practice to run my business, and I had so many orders. It was insane. Like, bro, when I tell you how much money I was making back then, just within my business, so young, it was awesome. And I didn't want to just freaking go play sports when I'm like, okay, I can make money doing this. I probably won't make baseball money. I probably won't go pro. So I'm gonna just do my business. So I literally ended up dropping out again, quitting baseball, and started doing my business again full time. I think at this point I was doing screen printing and embroidery along with retail, selling sweatshirts, hoodies, and also offering services like printing and embroidery to medical companies, construction companies who need shirts done and stuff like that. And throughout that process, I had so many ups and downs. That's another video for another day. This video is really just talking about resilience. So that I had so many ups and downs, but that's another video. So within that second time I dropped out, I was doing very well again, and things started to become slow again. Um, I didn't really have a lot of the resources that I needed. I didn't really know much about credit. I didn't really want to go into debt at the time to fund my business. I didn't have the space. Just a lot of unknowns. So my business started to kind of tank again. So I went back to school. And this time I went back to become a dentist. So I enrolled in this program, dental technology program. And, I was like, okay, I'm just focusing on school. I'm not going to do business again. I need to focus. So I ended up getting an internship at a doctor's office, orthodontic office, and I love that guy to this day. I was actually um, at his office today because I just got my braces off. I had Invisalign. Um, got those off, so had my last appointment today. But anyway, so I completely deleted all my Instagram posts. No, hold on. Hey, any chance you can come at 5? Had a cancellation. Yes. Yeah, I think that should work. Should be good. So where was I at? We'll put this on silent. Okay, so anyway, um, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm completely focused on this. And the reason I picked that degree was because, bro, I was like, what do I need to do? What can I do? I don't know what to do. So I just started researching. I Googled best careers, make money, blah, blah, blah. And dentist came up. And that's literally how I picked my degree, my undergrad degree, and trying to go on to be a doctor. So that was, I enrolled there about 3 years later. This is 2019. And I quit again because my business started to do great. And I'm still living at home. My parents at this point, they're like, Jordan, I'm done paying for your money or for school. I'm done trying to help you out with career. It's time to man up, basically. So I went back to school after quitting the dental degree again. Ended up finally finishing this past May. Yes, sir, for these screws. All right. So I ended up um, going back, finishing, and enrolled in a MBA program, and that's where I am now. And I'm working full time, and I'm working as my dream job, really doing business as a sales consultant. And I'm also running my company with my sister, my mom, and my friend. Looking back almost 10 years, almost a decade ago, I started this journey through school and business, and so many ups and downs, breakups, heartbreaks, lost friends, lost everything. Eventually moved out, living on my own now. Um, I can't say enough about resilience and what you have to do to become successful. It's For one, it's always a journey. There's no destination, as well as it's just you got to know what you want. You can't be confused. You can't let outside forces dictate your future. If you don't know what you want, you got to look within. You really do. Because if you try and ask your parents or your brother or your sister what you should do, that's going to take you in so many different directions. So it's clear to know where you want to go. But also, if you know kind of where you want to go, but you don't know exactly how you're going to get there, um, that's when you start experimenting and you really just say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm working this job, let me excel at this job and see what opportunities come. 2 years ago, I was working at McDonald's and I didn't think I would ever do entrepreneurship again. I was like, okay, I'll just be a bookworm and just work a job, be a dentist, and I'll be okay. But I started to see the owner of McDonald's come in, the GMs come in, and I'm like, okay, these guys own the place, and I'm working on the fryers. How can I level up from being a fryer to get to where they're at? So I asked for opportunities. They told me I could be a maintenance manager. That's exactly what happened. I started working maintenance. I started kind of really setting my own schedule from there. I went from just being a fry cook or whatever to working my own schedule, being flexible. I could be on my phone. I could listen to music because I was a maintenance manager. Just simple things like that, questions and answers. If you see someone where you're at, where you want to be, start asking, hey, how can I get there? I didn't ultimately become the McDonald's owner or franchise owner. Hey, that might be in my cards one day. I'm not sure. But I love the food industry. And working at McDonald's, people used to make fun of me for that. Um, but I saw a bigger picture like, hey, I might be working at McDonald's right now, but one day I could own it. So I just think that's interesting. You could start off one route by society standards, you're doing bad. If you've got a vision and a purpose, you could come out on the other side on top. So yeah, I'm on lunch break right now. Um, I got a meeting with a client at in 1 hour. I'll probably leave in about 30 minutes. But I just wanted to hop on here to let you guys know that being resilient does matter. It's very helpful, and it's really the only way to get to where you want to be. Um, yeah, if I have any other, if I couldn't tell you to do anything else, I'd just say be resilient. Keep striving for the things that you want to go for. Um, when I worked at McDonald's, I had a fiance at the time. Shout out to her. She was always there for me through anything. I switched so many jobs. I've tried everything. I've tried so many other businesses, tried so many different jobs, different um, careers, different majors throughout college. And, she was there for me through it all. My family was also there for me through it all. So just having people in your corner as well is very important. The people who weren't there for me, they're no longer there. And that's okay. People are going to come and go in this life. So being resilient in relationships as well is super important. What else? What else? Let me see what else. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see. What am I missing? What am I missing? So yeah, being resilient in your self image as well, and your self worth. Uh, you got to trust yourself. If you don't trust yourself, you can't really get to where you need to be. Um, you got to be self aware and recognize your own strengths because I've always been good at business. I've always been good at building relationships. I've always been good at those things, but I never realized I could make money through that if I just stuck with it and not try to do what everyone else was doing. Everyone that I grew up with, they're in healthcare, they went those type of routes, and I thought I needed to do that as well. Get the straight A's in healthcare classes instead of getting good grades in business classes. Um, when I was coming out of high school, I had been doing business for probably my entire middle school and high school tenure, I guess. But um, instead of looking within myself, I decided to look on TV, go, oh, be a lawyer, oh, do engineering because that guy looks cool doing it, oh, do healthcare because that's what Google's telling me to do, instead of just looking within. So I think within the past really within the past year and a half, um, since me and my ex fiance broke up, I've been able to kind of trust myself a lot more, and understand that when I was seeking validation from other people, that was actually insecurity, I guess. That was actually me just being really confused and not confident in my own decisions. And I'm happy I was able to come out on the other side. Um, yeah. So being resilient in your emotional intelligence, that's very true. Um, and being resilient and not over consuming. Um, Again, years ago, I used to just over consume when YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Google, Quora, Reddit, books, instead of producing. And when you just consume, a lot of those people are going to influence you. You're going to be coming over here, and then you're going to be all coming over here, this idea, and you're going to be running into walls instead of staying focused on one to two things. So being resilient in your addictions, don't get addicted to um, needing validation. Don't get addicted to social media. Use those as tools to propel you forward, not set you back. So those are just some of the messages I have today. Just staying resilient. And since being since I've acquired these skills, and I've always had this. I've always been a go getter and stuff, but now I have kind of honed in on two things: work. Well, I guess three. Well, I guess two: work in my business and then school. Because I'm doing my master's right now, so master's in business with a finance concentration. So I do value education, but I value practicality a lot more. Um, I've been doing business for over a decade. My own business, making money, my own business. But I also wanted that formal education just to kind of hone in on some things, get familiar with things I'm not familiar with, uh, and kind of force me to learn these things too. So, um, yeah, that's all I got today. We done.